Hello there. Welcome to the video. I am Elman, and today I'm going to do a bit of a more experimental video that I usually don't tend to do here on the channel. But we're going to attempt to do a moveset for a virtual YouTuber, and the title already said which one it is. It's going to be Ookami Mio from Hololive Gamers. This video has the purpose of showing how I think Ookami Mio would play in Smash or other platform fighters of the like. There is a bit of warning to be said here before the video starts. Some of these moves will be a little bit borrowed from other fighters, or just different properties altogether. But however, there will be some that are unique, cause, you know, she's gotta have something unique. She can't just all be clones. Heck, I think she might be a bit more unique than Ganondorf. But I kid. Let's get on to the video, shall we? Right now, I would like to talk about the attributes and things to describe her and how she would feel and or play. But to explain why I decided to put the attributes first, is because I had this in the last part of the script. But after taking pictures of the movesets to put in the video, and then my explanations for it, I thought it'd be best to put this one first. To first describe Ookami Mio and how I would think she would play like, she would be like Wolf, because she's a wolf, you know, why the hell not? And the other one would be, she would just feel a bit like Pyra in that aspect, but a bit not too floaty. I guess what I'm trying to say is, she would be a bit like Pyra in terms of feel, but a bit faster and a bit less floaty. I guess you could say it's Marcina, or maybe Roy Crom, but not as fast, is what I would try to get to say here. But that's the general description I'm trying to go with, and comparing her to how Korone, Okayu, or Fubuki would theoretically play like. She is a wolf, and I've been told those are impact predators. Maybe the information they're giving me is wrong, but I'm just gonna go stick with that because I think Fubuki would probably be the faster of the gamers, Okayu being the slower of the four because she's all relaxed and stuff despite being a cat, and Korone probably the second fastest due to all the energy she has. Now that we've gotten the attributes out of the way, I feel like it'd be most important to now get onto the moveset, starting with probably the ones people do first, which would be the grounded attacks. For her jab, I want it to be a chop similar to Zeorzut Samus's and Byleth's jab 1. The reasoning for this is because, you know, she would be quick, and it would have a mechanic similar to Ken and Ryu's button press, where if you press it a little longer, then a card comes out, which would also, you know, justify why her jab would just be a chop. And that's it. And this would be a jab similar to Ganondorf, Roy, just a jab 1, the setup for things, you know? Just a simple sort of thing. And she gets a little card bonus at the end, too. And obviously there will be some push and pull to decide which one do you want, because throwing the card will take a little longer, but it does cover distance. You don't get the card out, it's gonna be pretty quick. And I think that's a nice change of pace, and would be great for her moveset in general, giving her an extra card throwing, which would be great to get people off her, or just to keep them at bay at a quick rate. For forward tilt, I would essentially like it to be similar, or just exactly the same as Terry's forward tilt, because I think it just makes a lot of sense if you look at the way Ookami Mio dances. And yes, she does use her arms in many poses and other concerts of the like, but her most iconic song is Howling, and she is running there. And don't forget, she also has the iconic Mio-sha step, so I think this alone can kind of justify her having an F-tilt like this. And it does good keep away with her jab, throwing the cards out with a certain button press mechanic. For her down tilt, I was thinking it'd be more like Wolf's down tilt. And essentially it being Wolf's down tilt, to keep away and to better synergize with her jab projectile and her neutral special projectile, which will be explained when we get to it. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit here and cover both up tilt and up smash, because I'm having a bit of trouble deciding which one suits which better. Because I was thinking her up tilt to be like Zelda's, but then I realized, what if I make it a multi-hit with the cards just like Samus, but only with cards, right? But then I was like, it really does feel more like a smash attack. And then this is more interchangeable, but at the end, for the sake of this video, she's just gonna have Zelda up tilt with Samus up smash, and both have card effects. For her side smash, I think some of you can see where I might want to go with this, but I'm just gonna say it outright with this clip. Yeah, it's gonna be that type of thing. I'm gonna have her sneeze, because, you know, it's kind of iconic to her, really, and she sneezes plenty. And I had the idea of make the uncharged version a single hit, but then as it goes further on with the charge, it turns into a multi-hit with more damage and outputting kill. And this could be a good counter if they get too close to you and you manage to read their option, too. So heck, she can have a sneeze represented there, too. And I think it's a good move to have. For her down smash, it's just going to be like Mega Man Smash or pre-release down smash where it was a multi-hit. But this time, she just puts the cards out for a multi-hit. And I guess something you could do with this is have it be just like the F smash, where the more you charge it, the more multi-hits you get for that more power and or kill. Which I think is pretty neat too, because it could be like her charging animation. You know how the characters have a charging animation? That could be just her grabbing more cards, like Sheik getting more needles with her neutral B. Now for the final move of the grounded attacks that has been ignored up until now. That would be the dash attack. And this is just straightforward. I'm just gonna do another Miosha step reference because it just makes sense. And if you look at the way she does it in her concert, she has her arm out first. So it would just look like the Captain Falcon, Ganondorf, Samus dash attack. Oh, don't forget Wario in there too. So essentially this would be a more stock standard one, but I still think it would make a lot more sense and gives her a bit of a burst option too if need be. And I think it would synergize pretty well. You could keep them away the card or probably stun them into the dash attack, or you could go card jab, then into the forward tilt, and then into the dash attack. And I guess I can see that working. And I think it just works out well. And now that we've covered all of the grounded attacks, I think it's time we go to the aerial attacks next. And I think these are going to be a bit more simple, to say the least, in terms of explaining to do. And probably a lot shorter, too. For Ookami Mio's neutral aerial, my plan for it is to be similar, akin to Mewtwo's neutral air or Pikachu's neutral air, but have it shaped like Sephiroth's neutral air, but with cards surrounding her. I'm not sure if this idea is getting anywhere to anyone, but this is how I think it would go about, her being surrounded by cards and all. But at the end of the day, this is just a crude doodle. I'm not sure how well it would look like, but this is what I envision it would be. Now, for the rest of these aerials, they're going to be pretty simple to explain, as they're all just stock standard or just lifted from other characters, as I couldn't think of anything else for them. For forward air, I'm gonna go with Wolf's forward air. This would also give her another Wolf-like move, essentially, just being Wolf's forward air. And to not make her similar to Zelda or Rosalina in terms of aerial movement. And then for up air, this one, I have a bit more of an explanation to give. It would just be a stock standard Smash Bros. Up air with the crescent kick going from forward to back. Or, in her case, since she has a heel, I could see it being like Bayonetta's going from the back to the forward as well. But at the end of the day, that one is more decision or how the attacks would launch up in general. Or it could be said, it could be a multi-hit move going from forward to back and then from back to forward. That's also an idea I had in mind, but after imagining it play out, I just decided not to have that. So right now, that up air is just stock standard. And for her back air, this one's a bit more creative, I'd say. In my head, I had it more like Luigi's Jab 3 to have the same idea as Peach's back air, but this time, just using the whole back of it instead of just the hip to make it a bit more different too, and to have her just stand out more. Because they told me why not use her tail, because her back of the head looks like she has a tail, but in reality, her tail is wrapped around her leg, and then I imagined it, and I was like, she'd have to unwrap the tail first, and her using the hair for a back air would sound fun, but she isn't Shantae, so she is not using that back air as a forward air. My apologies, but that one would just put Luigi's Jab 3 in the air, and boom, you're golden. And then for the last aerial here would be down aerial. This one, have it be like Snake's down air, but have it with the Yoshi animation. Not as damaging as Yoshi's, but still something, because once again, this would be a reference to the Mio-sha step. And now, we're gonna go on to the specials, now that you've seen my ideas for the aerials, even though they were all stock standard, to put it bluntly. But the specials will likely be a bit more unique, to say the least. For her grab, I envision it being just a regular stock standard, using the side grab to grab her opponent, examples of it being Mario and Mii Brawler and Marth and Lucina. But the animations for forward throw, down throw, up throw, and back throw, they will be different. And before we get into those throws, I do think the pummel would also be with the knees and the legs. Henceforth also being a kind of reference to the Mio-sha step, but then again, this is very far-fetched, as many characters do use their knees or something else to pummel the opponent. For the first throw I'm gonna list out here is gonna be back throw, and the way I imagine it is that when she grabs the opponent, right, she throws them directly down and then bounces in front. I don't know where most of the idea would come for this, but what I envision it being like her playing leapfrog on the opponent. And if she's on the stage, right, it could bring her more towards the center, and then the opponent would be away from it. Or if she's trying to get an assist trophy or some kind of strong item, if you're playing with items or something like that, could also apply the same way too, like getting them away and while also moving you towards what you want. I don't know where the idea came from this. I guess it's to show the more bouncy and jumpy side the idols in Hololive need to have sometimes in idol culture. For her up throw and down throw, the reason there's only one drawing here is because they'd have similar animations at certain points, but they would not start with similar animations to avoid any Game & Watch fiascos. This animation here for up throw would be just like Incineroar's up throw with, just launching them up, right? But instead of him jumping up and then going down, for Mio, it would be her just grabbing the opponent and then throwing them up. And then for the down throw, that would be the starting animation. Once she grabs them, jumps up, and then jumps all the way down. And that would be the key difference. The down throw has her jumping, and the up throw does not have her jumping. The down throw jumping would be for more impact, possible berry, or just somewhere else. And as for the up throw, no jump, just pure force. And now for the last one of the throws, it would be forward throw. The reason forward throw looks like this is because I envision it. Once she grabs the opponent, it does like a swing backwards and then throws them forwards. I'm not sure if there's a grab like this in Smash Brothers or any other platform fighter, but this is how I imagine it be. The reason these grabs look like this is just some kind of deep cut reference to Sakura Miko when she put Ookami Mio and other VTubers from Hololive, or talents, however you want to call them, into a WWE game. And this is obviously, like I said, deep cut, but it's still something that can be used for grabs. And it could also make sense with the way she is as a wolf in general. In all fairness, the grabs do seem unique, but also stock standard at the same time. I think they're probably a bit more unique than the actual moves I've given her, but they're still just grabs. Their function mainly lies in how they throw rather than anything unique that happens. Because here's the thing, your grab, the way it performs, like, oh, how far does it throw, what angle does it send, and how much lag does it have will just determine it, instead of rather what your move does or looks like. And this could apply to anything, which is why I think leaving the grabs like this is also fine. But let's just get on to the next section, which would be somewhat more unique, to say the least, or probably the most unique part in this kit at the moment, which would be the specials. As for most videos or lists, or just anything in general when it comes to listing special attacks in a platform fighter character, it always starts with the neutral one. And the neutral special for Ookami Mio is a card throw. It's simple, she throws a card. And I would like it to have the effect that if she charges it, I would also like the animation of her charging to be like sheet needles. She's grabbing more cards, just makes sense. To it be covering different angles. So if you let her charge up all those cards, you are in a very hectic situation to get in. But if she has a card effect, which will go to the next part, called card change, right, which changes the effects of the cards, it'll just be either faster or slower, or depending on what the card effect does. It probably won't be faster or slower. It'll probably just be focused on shooting one instead of multiples of three for, to hit you. So she can get different effects on you, which will be explained when we explain down special. As for neutral special, yeah, it's just gonna be a card throw. And depending on how long you charge it, different angles and or power, possibly. It all depends on how it goes with the card change, really. Because you can't have one thing overpowered and then have another good option along with it. Oh, wait a minute, I just described Smash Ultimate. Never mind. Guess I'll be seeing you in the section of down specials now. Now on to explain Ookami Mio's down special card change. What I want to do with this move is that the effects of when she hits someone with the card changes depending on what you have active for the cards. I'll send a few examples from the game Idol Showdown. The first one being inflicting poison status. This one I can actually see it happen. In fact, we do have a projectile that's like this, and it's Joker's Ahagon when he has Arsene. And the second one, it decreases the opponent's star meter. Unless it's in a mode with Final Smash meter on, I essentially see this as a dead move. But it could be reworked into something else if possible. The third one, it decreases the opponent's attack power. This one's also a bit weird on the nose, because if you decrease the opponent's attack power, would that make you more susceptible to combos? Or would this be better exclusively used at high percent to, not die? But then that begs the question, if you're at high percent, shouldn't you just avoid taking a hit in the first place? But yes, that's the answer, but at the same time, maybe this will be good or bad. It's more of a judge to see how it's implemented. The fourth one, it increases the damage opponents take when guarding. Now this one, I do like a bit. It could essentially mean that you take more shield damage. But looking at Smash, right, there is no traditional FGC guarding, just the shield button. So you could essentially just have this be like Hero's Oomph or Psych Up, or a Combining Buster and Smash Art, so you can get the full effect of it. And I can see these all working. Now, the first one and the fourth one work pretty nicely into the Smash Bros. Engine. As for the third one, that's more of a how would it be implemented. The second one, that's definitely not working. It could be a dead move. One other way I could see it be implemented is that it removes a character's charged move away from them, or it just resets their charge back to 0 if they are charging it. Which that also opens up a whole can of worms and coding I don't wanna unload or open because I'm not experienced in that area of the world in skills. So I would just leave it like this with those 3-ish effects. You could leave the second one of just having the opponents deal less damage be something that it activates like a shield art on her. Still, this is more an open to interpretation one. It could also be a bit like Project M. Lucas in a sense that if she hits someone with the card, right, it could increase the power of her smash attacks to kill. And that could sound interesting because Project M. Lucas, the way he works, right, he has a move that increases the power of his smash attacks. I don't think this would necessarily translate well to Mio, but any effect is welcome, which is why in the comments, please, if you have any suggestions to see how this would work, please let me know. It's time to explain a more simple move after hearing all of that long mambo jumbo that you all listen to when explaining down special. This one is very simple, doesn't even need a visual, because it's just gonna be Incineroar side special combined with Project Plus's Bowser's the ability to launch the opponent wherever they want. With the down version, launching it down, making them force tech or just let them stay there on the ground, as if they're going to sleep, just like Snake's down throw. This would be called Mio's loving hug. She goes in forward, gives you a hug. And the reason I picked a wrestling grappler type of side special for this is because going back to Sakura Miko's WWE, making this an easy pick for it. And you can see where I'm going with this. It's just a hug to reference that she's known as Hololive's mama, or the mama of everyone in Hololive, the motherly wolf. So let's go to one that actually has a good visual to be used. Upward Special. Now this, also a lift from Idol Showdown. Third time, as I mentioned before in the video, the third thing we would be taking from that game. Thank you, Idol Showdown, for the inspiration. Now in Idol Showdown, this move is an anti-air, and she's just going up in a blast, boom, like that. The reason I want this as her up special is because I already described her as being a bit of a floaty, spacey, right? Then why not go a bit more with it and give her a move actually from a spacey? And in this case, it would be that up special. Her winding up that punch into the boom, into the hit. And it could be reworked into a decent get off me option too on the ground. It's kind of a cop-out, but I think it also just fits. And I don't even need to draw a visual for this. I just put the Idol Showdown gif there to see what I mean. And that's essentially how her specials would work. As for the distance, I think I would like it to be a bit similar to Fotz's, but not as much, since she's already floaty. She's not going to be falling down too crazy. But this could just be me thinking that Fotz's up B goes a bit too long in distance. But I also don't want it to be like Wolf or Falco's, where it doesn't go anywhere. More like a mix between Fotz and Falco's in that aspect. Probably a bit quicker too to make sense of the move as well. And that would be it for the specials. Now, let's talk about the alts. Well, we finished all of the game-esque things, but now it's the more cosmetic side of things, and in this case, you already know it's gonna be the alternative skins. I already had in mind the Pickout 7 because according to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you can only have 7 alternate skins plus your base, even though in previous games some characters had more or less. But 7 is the one we're gonna go with. The first two are gonna be obvious: Shirakami Fubuki, Inugami Koromene, and Nekomata Okayu, because, you know, Hololive gamers. There has to be some sort of connection to that. And then the other 4 are just ones that I would closely associate with Mio, or just have some deep involvement with her somehow. First one being Nakiri Ayame, commonly referred to as her daughter. Then the next one would be Ozora Subaru, because of the whole Smock collabs. And the next one would be Tokoyami Towa, because they often tend to collab. I haven't seen them do it much, but they recently did a collab on Morning Mio, so I'll keep that. And then for this last one, I'm a bit torn. I'm thinking Hosho Marin alt, but instead of it being recolors, because she and Mio have very similar colors, so it would be kind of a waste. I was thinking it being like a whole new outfit in general, like Joker having his 2 summer school outfits, and Mario having his builder outfit and his wedding outfit. And if this is impossible, another one I can see being the case for it would be Sakura Miko. Not sure what it would do there, but that's the one I would pick as a possible alt if the Hosho Marin one just isn't possible. And after saying what these skins can be, there's a bit more aesthetics and things to be decided, like what kind of fighting stage would she have? My response to that would be, since she's always with the Hololive gamers or another group, right, or just other idols in general, I think these idols would have their own concert stage as a literal fighting stage. Nothing too personnel, to say the least. But if there was anything I could add here, there wouldn't be really much anything to add, because her render, that would also be more so what game would it fit. Like for Brawl, probably something more realistic, but at the same time, no. If it were Smash 4, just an iconic pose. And if it were Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, something more of a dynamic pose in general. And that's all I really have to say. And I want to give a few shoutouts to this video to Xanders on Discord from the Mio5 English Discord for helping me point out some things I could go and get Mio things from, and also just making sure it does feel like Mio instead of just a fake fan, because I often feel like a fake fan for not having too much presence in the Mio stuff, because I don't speak Japanese that much. I'm still learning. Duolingo's a really slow process. Don't rely on it. Go find another thing. And I would also like to thank you, the viewer, for making it to the end of this video, for watching it in its entirety and or just listening to it while you're on a drive or doing something else. And with that being said, thank you, and see you next time. And while you're here, we have some Idol Showdown videos and some Hololive Treasure Island videos, and if you're here for Fire Emblem, we also have that too. So good night, everybody, or good morning, depending on when you see this video. And if it's during the day or during the evening, good evening and good day.